Hitting the OK button closes the brainstorming window, and now that story form structure that you selected is loaded throughout the software. For example, in story points, we can see the exact same story point choices that appeared in the brainstorming window. You can look through that story form structure everywhere through every feature and determine if it's the one that you want to just start working on right out of the box. But perhaps the best place to go after selecting an initial story form structure in brainstorming is in the story engine. The features of this window are fully explored in the story engine portion of this program, but for now we're going to focus on how to use the story engine in conjunction with brainstorming. The story engine window contains the story points most commonly addressed by authors, including the 12 essential story points along the top here, 4 pertaining to character, 4 to plot, and 4 to theme. The rest of these deal with the overall story goal and more information about that one special character, the main character, who represents the audience position in the story. The same structure we picked in brainstorming has been loaded into the story engine as well. Steadfast main character, outcome failure, judgment bad. But it's not likely that that randomly chosen story form is going to be perfect. It's not going to be exactly what we wanted for our story. So now our task is to modify this structure to better tailor it to the story we really had in mind. To do this, we're going to use the lockbox feature in the story engine. Next to every story point is the structural choice that was made, and next to that is a little lockbox. If we click on it, we lock that choice in place. We're saying specifically we don't want that to change no matter what. So in this case, we've determined we want our main character to remain steadfast no matter what else happens in the story. Also, we might determine that we want our main character's problem to remain trust. This guy is just too trusting, so we lock that in place as well. After we've selected all of the items we really want to keep, it's time to discard the rest. So we move over here to the clear button and push that. And when we do, all of the other options are cleared and opened up as far as they can be in a story in which there's a steadfast main character who also trusts too much. We can then go ahead and make the remaining choices manually if we like. For example, we might determine we want our story to end in success rather than failure. By making the remaining choices, we'll eventually get back down to one single story form, which will be a complete structure for the story we really wanted to tell. An even easier way to complete the story form, however, is to return to the brainstorming area. So when you've finished making your direct selections here, hit the OK button, and then click on brainstorming again. Now that we've returned, we can see that a lot of the items that were previously selected are unchosen again. That's because whatever happens in one part of the Dramatica software is reflected throughout the software, so the changes that we made in the story engine are reflected back here as well. Since we locked steadfast in place, that shows up in this story form as well, just like we chose success. But now, when we spin the model, anything that we didn't lock down might change. In this manner, we can make sure that we get exactly the story points that we want, and then randomly select others until something else comes up that strikes our fancy as well. We can then repeat the procedure by selecting this and returning to the story engine once more. By going back and forth between the brainstorming and story engine areas, we can begin to hone in on exactly the story structure we simply lock an item in place, hit the clear button, open up our options, close the story engine, go back to brainstorming, and spin the model again to come up with a completely different story form, this time with the additional story point that we selected. Eventually, we'll zero in on just the story form we want. Then it's time to go elsewhere in the Dramatica software to develop that structure into a finished story.